right hand. Another sneaky right hand. This time he worked over the shoulder of Foreman.
In a shockwave that rattles the sports world, a resurfaced interview of the legendary Muhammad Ali shakes the foundations of boxing history. In this explosive conversation, Ali delivers scathing remarks, especially about his longtime rival George Foreman, igniting debates among fans and historians alike. Ali's words, brimming with raw emotion and unmatched confidence, challenge conventional narratives and set the stage for an unforgettable re-examination of one of boxing's most talked-about rivalries. The interview unfolds as an intricate tapestry of memories, raw insights, and controversial opinions that echo through the corridors of boxing lore. Muhammad Ali, whose life was a blend of brilliance in the ring and candor in his offbeat commentary, revisits moments that once defined his career and the sport itself. The interview is set against the backdrop of recent news and developments in the world of boxing, where echoes of past glories and rivalries continue to influence the present. With each word, Ali not only reasserts his enduring legacy, but also casts a critical eye on the legacy of his once formidable opponent, George Foreman. The conversation is charged with a passionate energy that recalls the days when Ali's provocative words would captivate audiences and stir controversies, leaving an indelible mark on sports history. In the early moments of this long-forgotten dialogue, Ali reflects on the dynamic interplay between his own unique approach and the raw, imposing presence of Foreman. His voice, though softened by time yet still resonant with conviction, recalls the days when he first stepped into the ring with a man whose reputation had preceded him like a thunderstorm on the horizon. Ali speaks of Foreman with a blend of nostalgic rivalry and unapologetic critique, describing him as a fighter whose physical prowess was matched only by his willingness to surrender his soul to the brutality of the sport. The memory of their epic clash, known to millions as a defining moment in boxing history, is recast in Ali's unmistakable style, a mixture of bravado, wit, and an uncompromising insistence on the superiority of his own vision of what boxing could be. Ali's words convey a narrative that is both personal and emblematic of a broader struggle within the sport. He recalls his first encounter with Foreman as an almost surreal experience, one that blurred the lines between spectacle and the harsh realities of combat. Ali's recollections are laced with criticisms that are as pointed as they are poetic. He paints Foreman not as a mere opponent, but as a symbol of a style of boxing that he believed was antithetical to the art of the sport. According to Ali, Foreman's approach was one of unadorned brute force, a method that, while effective, lacked the finesse, the intellectual interplay, and the poetic rhythm that Ali championed in his own boxing philosophy. This difference in approach was not merely a stylistic divergence. It represented, in Ali's eyes, a fundamental incompatibility in the way the sport was to be understood and appreciated. In the course of the interview, Ali is unreserved in his assessment of Foreman's techniques, often resorting to a language that is both vivid and incendiary. He recounts how, in his own mind, Foreman's aggressive strategies were symptomatic of a deeper flaw, a lack of the kind of creative spark that can elevate a boxing match to an art form. Ali's criticisms are delivered with the cadence of a poet and the precision of a seasoned fighter, making it clear that his disdain was less about personal animosity and more about an ideological divide over the essence of boxing. He suggests that while Foreman might have had the physical attributes necessary for victory, his approach was ultimately lacking the innovation and the intellectual verve that Ali believed were the hallmarks of a truly great fighter. The interview takes on an almost mythic quality as Ali delves into his memories of training, of strategizing, and of the countless hours spent refining his craft. He speaks of the countless mentors, coaches, and fellow fighters who influenced his understanding of the sport, and he contrasts their wisdom with what he perceived as Foreman's narrow-minded approach to the game. Ali's recollections are replete with anecdotes that illustrate the fundamental differences between the two fighters. In one memorable passage, he describes a training session where he observed Foreman's relentless focus on sheer power, a method that Ali derided as both simplistic and ultimately unsustainable in the long run. He notes that while physical strength can indeed knock an opponent down, it is the subtle interplay of strategy, intellect, and sheer heart that keeps a champion on his feet long after the final bell has rung. Throughout the conversation, Ali is careful to ground his criticisms in personal experience and historical context. He recounts in painstaking detail the build-up to their most famous bout, offering insights into the psychological warfare that took place long before the two fighters ever exchanged blows in the ring. Ali explains that while Foreman's physical intimidation was undeniable, it was his own ability to think several moves ahead, to manipulate the perceptions of his opponents, that truly set him apart as a master of his craft. Yet it was precisely this intellectual superiority that made him so critical of Foreman's more one-dimensional approach. Ali's words are not merely retrospective. They are a call to re-examine the way boxing is evaluated and appreciated, urging contemporary audiences to look beyond the superficial allure of raw power and to seek out the subtle brilliance that he believed defined true greatness. As the interview progresses, the dialogue shifts from the realm of personal reminiscence to that of broader philosophical musing on the nature of sports and competition. Ali reflects on the evolution of boxing over the decades, noting that the sport has often been a battleground for conflicting ideologies. In his view, boxing is not just a contest of physical strength, but also a crucible where ideas, cultures, and philosophies collide. He laments the increasing commercialization of the sport, suggesting that in the modern era, the spectacle of violence often overshadows the deeper narratives that give the game its soul. In this context, his criticisms of Foreman take on a larger significance. They are not merely about one man's shortcomings, but rather a reflection of a broader trend that Ali saw as detrimental to the art of boxing. Ali's passionate diatribe is interspersed with moments of introspection, where he acknowledges the complexity of his own legacy. He admits that his words, though sharp and often biting, were always intended to provoke thought and to challenge conventional wisdom. His recollections of Foreman are tempered by a recognition that every fighter, no matter how flawed, has contributed to the rich tapestry of boxing history. Yet he remains steadfast in his conviction that the true measure of a fighter lies not in the size of his muscles or the power of his punches, but in the ingenuity and heart that he brings to every bout. This duality in his perspective is what makes the interview so compelling. It is a rare moment of vulnerability from a man who was often seen as invincible, a glimpse into the mind of a fighter who understood that greatness is not measured by victories alone, but by the courage to stand by one's principles even in the face of overwhelming opposition. In one particularly striking segment of the conversation, Ali recalls a heated exchange during the preparations for their legendary bout. With characteristic flamboyance and unrestrained eloquence, he describes how he once challenged Foreman on the very nature of his fighting style. He recalls saying that Foreman's reliance on brute strength was akin to a musician who played the same note over and over without ever exploring the beauty of a full symphony. The analogy, delivered with the force of a thunderclap, encapsulated his deep-seated belief that boxing was as much an art as it was a sport. Ali's remarks, though scathing, were imbued with a sense of theatricality that only heightened their impact. He goes on to explain that while he held a grudging respect for Foreman's physical abilities, he could never reconcile that with what he perceived as a lack of innovation and creativity. For Ali, the true essence of boxing lay in its ability to tell a story of struggle, resilience, and the triumph of the human spirit. Foreman, in his eyes, was a fighter who had forgotten that the heart of the sport was not merely about landing a powerful blow, but about engaging in a dialogue with one's opponent, a dialogue that transcended the physical and touched upon the realms of intellect and emotion. This interview, now resurfaced in the midst of today's ever-evolving sports landscape, has sparked a renewed interest in the rivalry between Ali and Foreman. Fans and historians alike are poring over every word, seeking to uncover the deeper truths hidden within Ali's evocative language. The resurgence of this dialogue comes at a time when the world of boxing is itself in the midst of transformation, with emerging talents and shifting paradigms challenging the established order. Ali's voice, though emanating from a bygone era, resonates with a timeless quality that continues to inspire and provoke debate. His criticisms of Foreman, while harsh to some, are viewed by others as a necessary corrective, a reminder that in the pursuit of excellence, there is no substitute for a true artistic vision. In the broader context of sports history, the conversation between Ali and Foreman occupies a unique space. It is a reminder that rivalries are not simply about the clash of fists, but about the collision of ideologies. Ali's insistence on the primacy of strategy, heart, and creative flair stands in stark contrast to Foreman's embodiment of raw physicality. The debate that ensued from this interview has transcended the boundaries of boxing, influencing discussions in other sports and even in cultural commentary. Analysts have drawn parallels between Ali's words and the broader challenges faced by athletes who strive to balance the demands of commercial success with the pursuit of artistic integrity. In an era where sports are increasingly viewed through the lens of entertainment and profit, Ali's reflections serve as a powerful counterpoint, a call to return to the roots of competition, where the beauty of the game was measured not in dollars and endorsements, but in the purity of performance. The interview also delves into the personal toll that such high-stakes rivalries can exact on a fighter. Ali speaks candidly about the mental and emotional challenges he faced in preparing for bouts that were as much a battle of wills as they were physical contests. He describes sleepless nights spent strategizing, the relentless pressure of public expectation, and the ever-present specter of defeat that loomed over every training session. In these recollections, Ali reveals a side of himself that is rarely seen. A man who, despite his outward bravado, was deeply aware of his own vulnerabilities. His comments on Foreman are thus imbued with a sense of regret, a recognition that the fierce rivalry they shared was not solely defined by animosity, but by a mutual acknowledgement of each other's strengths and weaknesses. It is this complexity that has given the interview its lasting impact. It is a window into the soul of a fighter who was as much a philosopher as he was a pugilist. A man who understood that the true measure of greatness lies in one's ability to confront one's own limitations, even while challenging those of one's adversary. Over the course of the interview, Ali's narrative shifts seamlessly from personal recollection to a broader meditation on the evolution of boxing as a sport. He reflects on the changes that have swept through the industry in recent years, noting that the modern era has seen a shift towards an emphasis on physical attributes at the expense of intellectual rigor. In his measured yet impassioned tone, he criticizes a trend that values sheer power and spectacle over the nuanced interplay of skill and strategy. Ali's observations are particularly poignant in light of the resurgence of discussions about the sport's artistic merit, a debate that has gained new life as younger generations of fans seek a deeper connection with the traditions of boxing. In this context, his criticisms of Foreman take on an added layer of meaning. They are not just a reflection of a personal rivalry, but a symbolic indictment of a system that, in his view, has lost sight of what made boxing great in the first place. Ali's comments are delivered with an unmistakable clarity, each sentence punctuated by the conviction of a man who has lived through the highs and lows of a tumultuous career. He recalls, with a mixture of disdain and wistfulness, how Foreman's approach to training and fighting seemed to prioritize brute force over the art of anticipation and counterattack. In his own words, he described Foreman's style as lacking the elegance and unpredictability that characterized the greatest moments in boxing history. While acknowledging Foreman's undeniable achievements, Ali does not mince words when he questions the sustainability of a style built solely on physical might. His critique, though pointed, is framed within a larger narrative that champions the intellectual and creative dimensions of the sport. It is a perspective that challenges modern audiences to re-examine their own definitions of excellence, to consider whether the relentless pursuit of power can ever truly substitute for the subtle interplay of skill, strategy, and heart. The Resurfaced interview has ignited a firestorm of discussion among boxing enthusiasts, sports journalists, and cultural commentators. In the days following its release, social media platforms have been abuzz with debates over the merits of Ali's criticisms. Some fans laud his unwavering commitment to the idea that boxing is an art form, while others argue that his remarks are an unfair indictment of a fighter who, in many ways, revolutionized the sport with his own brand of power and determination. Yet even as opinions diverge, one point remains clear. Ali's words have once again cast a long shadow over the legacy of George Foreman, prompting a re-examination of the values that define true greatness in boxing. The dialogue that has emerged from this interview is a testament to the enduring power of Ali's influence, a reminder that his voice, even decades after his heyday, continues to shape the conversation around one of the world's most beloved sports. In reflecting on the legacy of his rivalry with Foreman, Ali reveals a profound understanding of the nature of competition. He speaks of the adrenaline-fueled moments before a fight, the intense preparation that goes unnoticed by the casual observer, and the sheer mental fortitude required to stand toe-to-toe with an opponent whose strength is as formidable as it is intimidating. For Ali, every match was a contest, not just of brawn, but of brains, a duel where the ability to outthink an adversary was as crucial as the power to outpunch him. His Criticisms of Foreman are rooted in this philosophy, a belief that true champions are defined by their ability to merge physical prowess with intellectual agility. In recounting these memories, Ali offers a window into a world where every blow, every feint, and every calculated risk carried a weight that extended far beyond the confines of the ring. The interview also touches on the lasting impact that this rivalry has had on the sport of boxing itself. Ali notes that the echoes of his clashes with Foreman continue to reverberate through modern training techniques, fighter psychology, and the overall narrative of the sport. He argues that while the flashiness of modern boxing often emphasizes marketability and instant impact, there remains an undercurrent of tradition that values the long-term cultivation of skill and strategy. Ali's reflections are a call to arms for those who believe that boxing should be celebrated not just for its spectacle, but for its rich, multifaceted heritage, a heritage that, in his view, has been somewhat overshadowed by the relentless march of commercialization. His scathing remarks about Foreman, delivered with both fire and finesse, serve as a reminder of a bygone era when every fight was a battle for the soul of the sport. As the interview draws to a close, Ali's tone softens ever so slightly, revealing a man who, despite his controversial comments, remains deeply connected to the legacy of boxing. He acknowledges that every fighter, including Foreman, has played a role in shaping the history of the sport, and that the rivalry between them, for all its intensity, was ultimately a mutual exchange that enriched both of their legacies. Yet, the critical undercurrent in his narrative is impossible to ignore. Ali's pointed critiques serve as both a personal catharsis and a broader philosophical statement about what it means to be a true artist in the realm of boxing. He leaves his audience with a challenge to look beyond the surface of physicality and to recognize the subtle interplay of intellect, creativity, and passion that defines the very essence of combat sports. In recounting his experiences, Ali often returns to the metaphor of a grand theatrical performance, where every fighter plays a role that transcends the mere act of throwing punches. He envisions the ring as a stage upon which characters of immense courage and complexity enact dramas that are as much about personal growth and resilience as they are about victory and defeat. In this dramatic reimagining of his own history, Foreman is cast as both a formidable adversary and a tragic figure, a man whose reliance on raw power ultimately belied a deeper inability to innovate and inspire. Ali's words, though harsh in their critique, are not delivered with malice, but with a fierce passion for the sport and an unyielding commitment to its true ideals. His narrative is an invitation to fans and critics alike to re-examine the legacies of both men, to appreciate the nuances of their rivalry, and to engage in a dialogue about what truly makes a champion. The reverberations of this long-overdue interview are already being felt far beyond the boxing community. Sports analysts are revisiting classic matches, reinterpreting iconic moments, and questioning long-held assumptions about the nature of competition.
It's befitting that I go out of boxing like I came in, meeting a big, strong bully that knocks everybody out, that everybody's afraid of. England can't produce nothing to beat George Foreman. Africa can't produce nothing to beat George Foreman. Japan, China, no country but old Muhammad Ali.
The interview has sparked a renewed interest in the art of boxing, prompting a wave of retrospectives and academic studies that seek to understand the transformative impact of Ali's career on the sport. In newsrooms and sports bars alike, debates rage about whether modern boxing has lost something essential in its pursuit of profit and spectacle. Ali's incisive commentary on Foreman and, by extension, on the state of boxing itself, has become a rallying cry for those who long for a return to the days when the beauty of the sport was measured by its complexity and its capacity to inspire. Even as modern fighters embrace the relentless pace and physical intensity of contemporary boxing, there is an enduring appeal to Ali's vision of the sport, a vision that elevates the match to a realm of art and intellect. His criticisms of Foreman, delivered with a mix of poetic disdain and heartfelt sincerity, resonate with those who believe that boxing should be more than just a contest of might. It should be a journey of self-expression, a canvas on which the fighter's soul is laid bare for all to see. In this light, the interview stands as a powerful testament to the timeless relevance of Ali's ideas, urging today's athletes to rediscover the art behind the aggression and to remember that every fight is an opportunity to create something enduring and beautiful. In the end, the Resurfaced interview is more than just a historical artifact. It is a living document that continues to influence the conversation around boxing and its cultural significance. Ali's reflections on his rivalry with Foreman, though tinged with acerbic criticism, are ultimately a celebration of the sport's enduring power to provoke, challenge, and transform. His words remind us that every great rivalry is built on a foundation of mutual respect, fierce competition, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. And while his criticisms of Foreman may be harsh, they are also a reflection of his unwavering commitment to a vision of boxing that is as much about heart and creativity as it is about physical strength. Listening to Ali's voice from the past, one cannot help but feel the weight of his legacy, a legacy that transcends the boundaries of time and continues to shape the very fabric of boxing. His dialogue, with all its contradictions and fervor, invites us to reconsider what it means to be a champion in a world that often values spectacle over substance. The interview challenges us to look deeper, to appreciate the subtle interplay of ideas and emotions that underlie every bout, and to recognize that the true measure of greatness lies in the courage to stand by one's beliefs, even when they run counter to the prevailing trends. As the final words of the interview echo in the minds of those who have listened, there is a sense of unresolved tension, a feeling that the debate over the true nature of boxing is far from over. Ali's critical remarks about Foreman continue to reverberate, serving as a reminder that even the most celebrated figures are not immune to scrutiny, and that every legacy is a complex tapestry woven from both triumphs and shortcomings. His reflections compel us to acknowledge that the rivalry between him and Foreman was not merely a contest of physical abilities, but a clash of philosophies, a battle between the art of strategy and the allure of brute force. It is a battle that, in many ways, continues to define the sport and challenges every new generation of fighters to rise above the simplistic metrics of power and speed. In this enduring dialogue between past and present, Muhammad Ali's voice remains a clarion call for those who believe in the transformative power of sport. His unapologetic critiques, especially of the approach epitomized by George Foreman, serve as a potent reminder that boxing is not merely a series of matches, but a living, breathing testament to the human spirit's capacity for creativity, resilience, and reinvention. Even as the modern era marches forward with new heroes and new narratives, Ali's words continue to inspire and provoke, a legacy that is as vibrant and controversial today as it was in the days when his fists first danced in the limelight. In revisiting this storied conversation, one is struck by the raw intensity and unfiltered honesty that defines every moment of Ali's recollections. He speaks with a fervor that belies the passage of time, painting a picture of a rivalry that was as much about ideologies as it was about physical confrontation. The criticisms he levels, particularly against Foreman, are not born out of petty enmity, but from a deep-seated belief in the ideals of ingenuity, strategy, and the enduring art of boxing. His words challenge us to question the metrics by which we judge a fighter's worth, urging us to look beyond the surface and to appreciate the intricate layers of passion, intellect, and dedication that underpin every bout. The Resurfaced interview, with its blend of high drama and poignant introspection, thus stands as a monumental testament to the spirit of a man who redefined what it meant to be a champion. In his critique of Foreman, Ali not only reasserts his own legacy, but also casts a critical light on the evolution of a sport that has, over the decades, shifted its focus from the noble pursuit of excellence to a more commercialized spectacle. His commentary is a rallying cry for a return to the days when boxing was as much about the soul of the fighter as it was about the spectacle of victory. A call that continues to resonate with those who believe that the heart of competition lies in the art of the fight, not just in the strength of the blow. As the interview draws to its close, the lasting impact of Ali's words becomes evident. They are a reminder that while champions may fall and rivalries may fade, the ideals that define true greatness are eternal. Ali's reflections on his relationship with Foreman, laced with both admiration for the physical prowess and scorn for what he saw as a lack of creative spirit, remain a powerful commentary on the nature of competition and the enduring legacy of a sport that continues to capture the imagination of millions around the world. His voice, vibrant and unyielding, transcends the confines of time, challenging each new generation to embrace not only the physical demands of boxing, but also the deeper, more artistic elements that have made it a symbol of human resilience and ingenuity. In this extensive reflection, the resurgent interview of Muhammad Ali is more than a mere recollection of past glories. It is an invitation to engage with the very essence of what makes boxing a timeless art form. Through his vivid and uncompromising commentary, Ali redefines the parameters of excellence, urging us to look past the superficial allure of raw power and to seek instead the profound, almost mystical qualities that elevate the sport. His criticisms of Foreman, though scathing, are imbued with a sense of longing for an era when the true spirit of competition was measured in the interplay of strategy, intellect, and passion. In doing so, he not only cements his own legacy, but also challenges us to reconsider the future of boxing in a rapidly changing world. As the final notes of this remarkable interview fade away, one is left with a sense of awe and contemplation, a reminder that the debates and rivalries of yesteryear continue to echo in the present, shaping the narratives of modern sport. Muhammad Ali's unapologetic reflections, especially his unfiltered commentary on the style and substance of George Foreman, serve as a beacon for those who dare to question the status quo. They call on us to remember that beyond the flash and fury of modern competition lies a deeper, more resonant truth, that the true measure of a fighter is not in the power of his punch alone, but in the brilliance of his vision, the courage of his convictions, and the unwavering commitment to an art form that transcends the boundaries of time. This extensive recollection of one of boxing's most controversial rivalries is a vivid reminder of the enduring impact that Muhammad Ali has had on the sport and on the hearts of fans worldwide. His critical insights, delivered with a blend of poetic elegance and biting realism, invite us to question not only the legacy of his personal battles, but also the evolving ethos of a sport that continues to inspire and challenge us all. In the annals of boxing history, the dialogue between Ali and Foreman will forever stand as a testament to the power of words, the complexity of competition, and the unyielding spirit of a man who believed that greatness is defined by more than just the strength of one's blows. It is defined by the courage to dream, to innovate, and to leave an indelible mark on the world. The legacy of this interview is destined to spark discussions for years to come. Its revelations have opened up new avenues of debate, encouraging both critics and admirers to re-examine the intricate balance between power and finesse in boxing. Ali's relentless scrutiny of Foreman, underscored by his own unyielding commitment to the intellectual and artistic dimensions of the sport, has injected new life into a conversation that many thought was relegated to the past. His words remind us that while the physical aspects of boxing may be timeless, the philosophies that underpin the sport must continually evolve to reflect the changing dynamics of competition and creativity. In this reflective moment, it becomes clear that the Resurfaced interview is not merely a historical artifact, but a living dialogue that continues to challenge the norms of modern boxing. Muhammad Ali's unwavering belief in the artistry of the fight, as evidenced by his scathing yet eloquent critiques, forces us to confront a fundamental question. What truly defines a champion? Is it the sheer force of muscle and might, or is it the intricate interplay of mind and body, strategy and spontaneity? Ali's words, imbued with the passion of a true visionary, insist that the answer lies in a delicate balance, a balance that Foreman, in Ali's own unflinching opinion, never quite managed to achieve. This interview, rediscovered at a time when the world of boxing is undergoing rapid transformation, serves as both a historical record and a prophetic vision. It is a call to all those who revere the sport to look beyond the surface of contemporary spectacle and to rediscover the deeper meaning embedded in every match. Muhammad Ali's insights, particularly his controversial remarks about George Foreman, are a testament to the enduring struggle between physical dominance and intellectual brilliance, a struggle that continues to define the evolution of boxing in the modern era. His voice, rich with both the bitterness of past conflicts and the hope for a more enlightened future, stands as a challenge to current and future generations of fighters to elevate the sport beyond mere aggression and into the realm of true artistic expression. We close this in-depth exploration of one of boxing's most compelling narratives. The resonant impact of Muhammad Ali's words lingers like an echo in the annals of sporting history. His unfiltered commentary on his relationship with George Foreman, delivered with a potent mix of disdain and admiration, encapsulates the timeless debate over what it means to be a true champion. It is a debate that, despite the passage of decades, remains as relevant as ever. A debate that invites us to look at every fight not merely as a contest of physical strength, but as a profound dialogue between competing philosophies. In Ali's eyes, every bout was an opportunity to express the full range of human creativity, and it is this belief that continues to inspire countless athletes and fans around the globe. The legacy of this interview is destined to endure long after the final word has been spoken. It is a vivid reminder that, in the world of boxing as in life, the greatest battles are not fought solely in the arena of physical combat, but in the realm of ideas, dreams, and the unyielding pursuit of excellence. Muhammad Ali's reflections on his rivalry with George Foreman, though laced with biting criticism and unrepentant candor, are ultimately a celebration of the spirit of competition, a spirit that challenges each of us to rise above mediocrity and to strive for greatness in every aspect of our lives. In recounting these memories and opinions, Ali has left behind not only a record of a legendary rivalry, but also a blueprint for how the sport of boxing should be understood and appreciated. His insistence on the importance of strategy, heart, and creative expression serves as a beacon for those who believe that the true essence of boxing lies in its capacity to inspire, challenge, and transform. As we reflect on the Resurfaced interview and the passionate dialogue it has rekindled, we are reminded of the enduring power of Muhammad Ali's legacy, a legacy that continues to inspire debate, evoke emotion, and shape the future of a sport that remains as captivating and multifaceted as ever. This extensive account, a vivid tapestry of memories, critiques, and philosophical musings, ultimately stands as a tribute to the indomitable spirit of Muhammad Ali, a spirit that refused to be confined by convention and that saw in every fight an opportunity to redefine what it means to be a champion. His unrelenting scrutiny of George Foreman, while controversial and harsh in its tone, was never intended to diminish the achievements of a great fighter. Rather, it was a reflection of a deeply held belief that true greatness is measured not solely by victories in the ring, but by the courage to challenge established norms and to envision a higher standard of excellence. In the end, the Resurfaced interview is more than just a recollection of past glories and rivalries. It is a living testament to the enduring impact of a man whose words continue to resonate across generations. Muhammad Ali's reflections on his relationship with George Foreman, delivered with a rare blend of poetic intensity and uncompromising realism, invite us all to reconsider the true essence of boxing and, by extension, the very nature of competition itself. His legacy, etched in every powerful phrase and memorable quip, serves as a reminder that while champions may come and go, the ideals they represent can never be silenced. Even as the world of boxing marches forward, embracing new techniques, new heroes, and new narratives, the echo of Ali's voice remains a constant force, a force that challenges us to remember that the true beauty of sport lies not in its fleeting victories, but in the timeless dialogue between heart, mind, and the indomitable will to triumph over adversity. Muhammad Ali's unyielding critique of George Foreman, with its fiery rhetoric and unfiltered honesty, continues to spark conversations that transcend the boundaries of sport, reminding us that the greatest battles are often those fought within ourselves. Thus, as we take our leave of this extraordinary interview, we are left with a profound sense of awe and inspiration, a reminder that the legacy of Muhammad Ali, with all its complexity and controversy, remains a beacon of hope and a call to arms for all who dare to challenge the status quo. His jurisan words, powerful and provocative, continue to inspire, provoke, and illuminate the path toward a deeper, more meaningful appreciation of the sport of boxing, a sport that, like life itself, is defined not by the victories we win, but by the ideals we choose to uphold. In this moment of reflection, the Resurfaced interview stands as a monumental tribute to the enduring power of legacy, a legacy built on the unyielding belief that true greatness is not measured by the force of one's blows, but by the courage to speak one's truth, even when that truth challenges the very foundations of conventional wisdom. Muhammad Ali's parting words, delivered with the same relentless passion that characterized his entire career, continue to echo in the hearts of all who have been touched by his unparalleled vision of what boxing, and indeed life, should be. Every sentence, every critique, and every impassioned observation from that fateful interview is a reminder that while the world may change, the fundamental truths of excellence, integrity, and creative expression remain immutable. Muhammad Ali's unfiltered commentary on his relationship with George Foreman is not simply a relic of a bygone era. It is a living, breathing call to honor the true spirit of competition, to reject mediocrity, and to strive for a higher, more noble purpose in every endeavor. In this way, his legacy endures, not as a collection of past glories, but as an ever-present challenge to each of us to elevate our own pursuits to the realm of the extraordinary. As the final echoes of this profound interview fade into the annals of history, one truth remains indisputable. The words of Muhammad Ali, both triumphant and trenchant, continue to shape the way we view not only boxing, but the very nature of human ambition. His critiques of George Foreman, delivered with both the fire of a competitor and the wisdom of a true artist, remind us that the greatest battles are those fought not only in the ring, but within our own hearts and minds. In celebrating the legacy of this unforgettable dialogue, we are called to embrace a vision of excellence that transcends the limitations of the physical and aspires to the eternal ideals of creativity, courage, and relentless passion. In the end, the resurfaced interview of Muhammad Ali stands as a stirring chronicle of a man who defied expectations, challenged the norms of his time, and left an indelible mark on the world of boxing. His candid reflections on his rivalry with George Foreman, with all their passion, controversy, and undeniable truth, serve as a timeless reminder that the spirit of a champion is not defined by the physical force he wields, but by the profound conviction that every fight is an opportunity to elevate the human spirit. And so, as we remember the words of a true legend, we are inspired to look within ourselves, to challenge our own limitations, and to continue the eternal quest for greatness, a quest that, in the words of Muhammad Ali, is fought not just with the body, but with the very soul.